Hello guys, it's the Midwest Fish Keeper here. It is August 30th, 2026. I've been settled in for the past couple weeks and I couldn't go without a fish tank. Now, I found this amazing piece of driftwood while trout fishing. It was on a side of the bank and a tree had fallen down. It was the roots of the tree. I cut the root off and I had to keep it because it just looked so amazing. So now I'm going to base my whole tank out of it, and you can see here I've taken measurements. I've decided that the best tank that's small enough for the place I live in and what could fit it is a 20-gallon long. So I'm going to make a 20-gallon long apsitogramma South American biotope tank. So I'm going to show you guys how to build a South American biotope tank or just any type of tank. I'm going to show you guys how to build the stand, how to collect driftwood and rocks. It's going to be a great video, so stay tuned. So for my first step here, I'm creating the box for the 20-gallon long to sit on. Now, this is just foreshadowing of what I'm actually doing, but it will make more sense when I show you my plans. So my plans is I measured my 20-gallon long, which is 30 1/4 by 12.5 inches. And to create my 2x4 cut list, the length I put was 30 5/8 for the length and 10 inches for the width. And the reason I did that is a 30 5/8 gives me about an 1/8 inch wiggle room or play so the tank doesn't slip and slide off the edges. And there's a little lip. And the 10 inches is actually the 2x4 length. But if you take into account the thickness of the 30 5/8 inch piece, which is 1.5 inches, it's technically 13 inches wide. But the 10 inches are just showing you that I cut my 2x4s to 10 inches. So technically it's still a 1/2 inch wider than the fish tank, so it can sit nicely. Now here in this drawing is my official cut list. Basically, I'm going to cut 4 2x4s at 30 5/8, 4 at 10 inches, and 4 at 36 inches. The 4 boards at 36 inches are the height of what the stand's going to be. And basically what I'm going to do is have the stand 3 feet tall, and then the tank is also another 12 inches. So the whole stand and fish tank will be 4 feet tall. And I kind of measured that within where I live, and it looked really nice and was at a nice eye level. So I decided to create the stand 3 feet tall. Here's just some rough sketches of just some ideas I was coming up with the stand and how to build it exactly to make it fit nice. Here's just some rough dimensions. I ended up abandoning the idea of having a 10-gallon shelf underneath. I just decided it was too much work, and I'd much rather just have the 20-gallon. So I cut all my boards, the 4 at 10 inches, the 4 at 30 5/8, and the 4 at 36 inches. And I assembled a box just to show how the tank sits and what it's exactly going to look like. And I made sure my measurements are all correct, and it looks good, so I'm going to continue assembling the stand from here. So here's just a quick clip of showing me how I assembled it. Basically what I did is I just pre-drilled the 2 holes, and then I put 2 screws in on each side. Basically that just allowed me to prevent the wood from cracking, because sometimes when you send these like pretty intense deck screws into the sides, you can get wood splintering, especially at the end, so I wanted to avoid that at all costs. Now I created the second box now, knowing that the first one was good. And as you can see here, the 10-inch 2x4, you see how I screwed everything down. It makes total sense now that you see it. Now I'm going to start assembling the rest of the tank by taking the 4 36-inch 2x4s and screwing them in on the inside of the boxes, which you'll see in the next clip. Now I take my 2 boxes, I set them upright, then I take my 4 36-inch 2x4s and I clamp them down onto the inside of the box, and I'm making sure that they're not sticking past the box line and they are flush or just a little bit below flush, so that it doesn't come in contact with the glass and causing the glass to crack, and make sure the fish tank is nice and safe. After everything is screwed and assembled, you're basically done. What I did is I took 2 screws for each post and I put them in through the 30 5/8 side into the 36-inch side. Then I took 1 screw from the 10-inch block and I sent it into the 36-inch as well. So it's pretty secure. And according to my research and from other people's videos, it seemed like some people stopped here and this is what their tank sat on. However, I'm not a fan of it. It's way too wobbly. I can flex it way too easily. And I wanted something more sturdy. So I'm going to go above and beyond and really secure it down, which I kind of recommend this for everyone as well. Here's what the tank looks like with it on the stand. And like I said, just not a big fan of it. Looks too bare bones, and I'm definitely going to add some more wood and support just to secure it and peace of mind. So I took out my cut list again, and I measured, and I'm going to cut 8 more 2x4s to 29 1/4. I'm not sure what the 5 is there for, but I'm going to cut 8 more to 29 1/4 inches to firm up the stand. So I assembled 4 out of the 8 on one side just to show how big of a difference it really is. Now, if you put force on the side that doesn't have that extra strength, it is really wobbly and it flexes and it bends. And then if you go to the other side and you push down, it doesn't move at all. So I'm really glad I did this, and it definitely was worth the extra couple 2x4s that it took to make it just that much stronger. And it's critical where the joints are that you overlap your 2x4s. If you look in the video and in the photos, that is very critical, as you don't want those joints to get weak and collapse or shift. Now, the stand turned out really good, and I really like it. This, if you just want to stop here and just paint it or cover up the screw holes, it is totally fine. It's all ready to go, and you have a completed fish tank stand. But I'm still going to keep going. I want to make this thing look really nice in our living room. And so I'm going to sheet it with plywood. I'm going to do some finish trim on it and paint it and stain it. So we're going to continue on with the process. Here's just some extra photos of what the completed stand looks like, just so you guys can get a better idea of how to build it. It's very simple. You can do this with any tank and any size. As long as I just recommend adding those 8 extra 2x4s to secure it, or add extra if you have a larger tank and extra supports. That's pretty much it for this video on how to build a fish tank stand. Stay tuned for the next videos where I continue building this 20-gallon long apsitogramma fish tank.